Welcome back to Two C's with a Pod. Look, man, it's just us back together.
Yeah,
Just you.
hey,
Hey,
just like we're used to, right? I mean,
yeah,
we usually run everyone off eventually.
yeah. Don't worry. The lead-in music will be just the two of us with little Will Smith,
Oh, the best. Just the two of
but
us.
only about 20 seconds so that we don't get a copyright strike.
And that's very important to us.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, because we are
We're going to monetize. Yeah.
we are monetizing the shit out of this YouTube. Uh, By the way, that just made us know it's not made for kids when we put it up on the YouTube.
Oh, God.
Very
Yeah,
very important question to answer.
exactly.
Well, I'm wearing a hood.
I see that, man. Yeah, that's like a different look for you. It's like a
Yeah,
Belichick look you got
yeah,
going.
and it's not a political statement. I have a
Okay.
surprise for you. What have I been complaining about? Quarantine.
There's a lot of things we're
Okay,
missing,
yeah,
but
I've been complaining about a lot. Yes, I understand
no.
that.
Well, I just know you have a particular look that you like, a
I like to.
style that you want to
That's
you
right.
keep it
I like
fresh
to
and
keep it tight. And today, got my haircut.
boom,
Boom.
looking
Look at
good.
there, got my haircut. And
That that's looking sharp.
she asked me. She said, "Do you want me to leave anything like up bangs or anything?" And I was like, Emily, the way that this hair grew the last 2 months, like it grew so weird, dude. It like sprout out over here, kind of like wavy here, and it's like, what the hell? Like, it's like
That's
no. I was like, no, take a 2 guard to skin,
you
like
brought
make
the
make it
yeah.
look like I'm going into the military.
I love it, man. It's you. It means business. It's about. I mean, you. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Very clean. Very clean. Very tight.
Well, I've noticed that you're sporting a little bit of a new do.
I did. I mean, this is so since I do
Mm.
have like this thing going back there. It's been a personal goal of mine to once in my life have long enough hair that I could put it back into some sort of like man ponytail. So it's a pretty
Nice.
exciting day when I was able to make it look even sort of presentable. Yeah. So, and I also, because of my Famer Time, persona here, my new name by some of my buddies is Famurai now. Famurai because of the
Mm.
samurai look. Famurai. Yeah.
I like
That's
it. I like it. Well, before we get started, you've got some plugs that you need to get off your chest. Um, so you've got a couple new projects that I'm really excited for you about. So tell us a
okay.
little bit about the lot. You got some children's stuff coming up.
We've
Uh,
got, yeah, there's
is it
some.
is it fair to say that you are big in the fish world? Like, can I say that my buddy's fish famous? Can I
Oh
say
my
that? I want to say it.
gosh. No, you can say it. Yeah, there's
I
nothing.
can say whatever I
And it
want, but
and
is
it
it
feels
true?
so good. It feels so good to hear you say it. Is it true? Is no. I would say quasi. I work for a guy who's probably at a point that he is fish famous in the fish world enough. And now that we work together, some of his fish famousness has dripped down to me a little bit. So I'm getting like trickle down famous.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at here. So it's early in the process. I'm shooting for fish famous though, believe me. That's
Well,
that's one of
good,
my other
good.
goals in life.
Well, I've been,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not a fish fan. No, no,
Yeah.
nothing against them,
No,
but
you're
I'm
not a big
learning.
music guy overall,
No,
but
I'm learning a lot just from watching and
oh, thank you. Yeah, we've
listening to
got a
you
little
guys.
live
And
show. We've got a little live show now called The Lot that's like an interesting kind of fun thing. Yeah, so yeah, check it out. It's on Tuesdays. If you it's very fishy, so again, but it's also kind of what we try to do is just make it a fun little kind of party atmosphere. A lot of these things, not our podcast, of course, but a lot of kind of podcasts get a little dry, they get a little bit. So we did say, hey, we're kind of six pasty white guys, like we need to spice it up the best we can, and so we really tried hard to do that.
yeah, because you guys are bringing on guests, and
We
like
have guests.
I was like
we,
jealous that you guys had like 12 boxes there. I was like,
we did
man,
have, yeah,
that's
by
a
the
good
end of it
zoom.
we
That's a good zoom
solid.
visual.
Yeah, solid Zoom look there. Again, it gets a little chaotic as we all kind of party a little bit longer throughout the thing. So it's very loose. It's very fun. Yeah. So it's a cool little experiment that we've got going, and it's been a semi fish hit so far.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you, though.
another thing, yeah, man, I'm super proud of you.
Ah,
Another thing, I know. That's the last nice thing I'm going to say about you.
there we go.
But, you
This
know,
is off brand
yeah,
right now.
it really is. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
love
what's
fest.
wrong with me. But, even more off brand, is for us to say something nice about somebody. But we had a little bit of a scare a couple weeks ago with a great friend of the show, Matt May. So seems to be recovering nicely.
Yeah, so thankful for that.
Yeah, sometimes real life just kind of gets in the way of us recording a podcast, and so I was very grateful your friends from Weekend Wook stepped in and really helped us out, because I can speak for myself, and I know that in our conversations we weren't really feeling getting on here and hey fucking yucking it up and all that stuff, because we were definitely worried about you, May.
That's right.
So,
man,
yeah.
it was a tough time, but yeah, I'm so glad that, and again, like there's so many, in talking with him and in similar experiences that you've had as well, like it does kind of purpose yourself, and you do kind of think about whether it's you, whether if it happens to your friend or whether it happens to you. I know for him it's something that's like, hey, like this is kind of that second opportunity, and it's again, and as a friend, just like you talked about so often, that like you've got to take advantage of the time that you have and the time you get with your friends, and make sure you don't like you get it and you don't throw it away, because it's short.
Yeah, I mean it's cliche to say, well, our tomorrows are never guaranteed, and and all this, but it's true, because I mean, one minute you're going out for fish tacos or whatever the fuck he was going for, you're going out for food.
You saw that saw that I offered. I will get carry out for him anytime he needs me to. From now on.
And since he's on the mend, I think it's fair for us to say he's always been a shitty driver. So one
of the worst drivers that literally there's not a sidewalk safe in the city streets. And that's sort of a joke, but I will tell you, in Lawrence, Kansas, I think they're still repairing some sidewalks that May was pretty convinced was a street and drove down for a good like 2 blocks.
Yeah. Well.
So there's that.
Well, we love you, May, and we want you to get feeling better, man, and full recovery, dude.
100%.
And good for him that he battled through it, fought through it, and he's doing good. So
tough guy, man. Tough guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, you ready to? We've talked about hair. We've talked about.
This is great so far.
Yeah. Got any COVID things you want to talk about, or things are starting to open back up? Oh, can I tell you a story real quick?
Please,
about the COVID. So
the Rona.
Our store has been open the whole time.
Sure.
Shortened hours, but not too drastically. Like, instead of opening at 7:30 a.m. for commuters, since there are no commuters,
right,
we are open at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The haircutting place next to us opened Monday. Okay. So I get there about 8:45 to open the store, and there's a gentleman parked in my spot. It's granted, doesn't have the reserved sign on it like it should.
Of course.
But it's my spot.
It's your spot, man.
I'm the first one there. And so I get out of my car, and this guy goes up and he pulls on the door of the place called the Locker Room. It's a men's haircutting place. And he comes back out and he's like, you associated with these people over here? And I'm like, no, friends of them, like friends with the owners, like good people. Glad to have them back today. I think they're opening today. That sign up there says I got to book an appointment online. I don't book anything online. I just walk in. Wow. And I'm like, well, buddy, I don't know what to tell you, but you're going to have a hard time, especially over the next 2 weeks. Like, well, no, I just walk in. It's like, do you really, people have been posting memes about how they are just beside themselves that they haven't been able to get their hair cut.
Right. But you're just going to walk in.
And you're just going to walk in. And by the way, they're not letting people walk in. Like, they're making their customers wait in their car
Exactly.
And then they're
buzzing them.
they're making them
Texting
come
them or
in. Then
something.
they walk out and like, hey, come in. like,
That's insane.
like they're waving them in, and this brother thinks that he's just going to walk in. Like, it's like, man, are you that tone deaf?
That is it, well, and again, that's where he goes to. In those old school like barbershop situations, that's how they are, So again,
No
they
appointments.
are
Walk in.
exactly. They just walk. You just walk in there and you sit and you wait for like 3 hours while this old man bullshits with the. And again, there's only one guy in front of you too, and you're there for 2 hours, because it takes him an hour and 45 minutes to cut this guy's hair because he's bullshitting, So yeah, and that's kind of the things. I'll tell you one quick COVID story before we get started. That's kind of similar to the same thing. Well, we had a guy that was talking. He's a musician. Okay. So musician is in these bars and clubs and how they're going to do things, now that they're opening back up again. And the thing that he said that was so interesting was he said this one bar that they love to play, they said one of the rules they'll probably have is they won't have drummers because they don't want people to dance at the clubs, right? So they're going to try to take, I guess, all the rhythm out of the music so that people don't dance and get close to each other. Like, and part of you just goes like, why have it then? Like, it gets to a point where you go, if you can't do it with the semblance of normalcy, then just wait till you can.
Well, you know what? And that brings us right into our topic. Last week we talked with the guys about the NFL schedule. And I think we wanted to kind of just jump back. We didn't want to make it a Chiefs centric thing. It was just kind of hey, these guys bailed us out. Thanks for the thanks for them jumping in. Let's talk about the Bears, the Ravens, their teams. I was a little disappointed your Bronco buddy didn't show up. I mean, we could have brought Bronco fan Dave on there. But
we thought we had a Broncos spot covered up.
Yeah,
and we didn't.
We always feel like we have to have a Broncos spot to cover up. Because
so we can fuck with them.
Yeah, like Tanner really should, invite Piper to things. You really want to invite that little brother in, and let him feel a part. Like, yeah, you're good try, buddy. Good try.
Yeah, good luck next year, Broncos.
Yeah, but I think I was gonna kind of jump in, and kind of deep dive into the Chiefs schedule and. But one of the things that I always do that we've covered on this show is a Rays trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's the story?
So that should be an talk early about planning. That, right? So we are in the planning stage of Rays trip. And so, you kind of look at what games do you have on, what would be the games that you would go on a Rays trip for?
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of look at, at Baltimore week 3, that's a Monday nighter. I think you're opening up the Charger Stadium in LA week 2. You're opening your first game in Vegas.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about the Vegas game. My nephew's Carter McGuire turned 21 November 2nd. Raiders game's November 22nd.
Damn.
Okay, so then you look at Tampa Bay, November 29th.
Yeah.
Well, great friend of mine, Billy Oxley, lives in Orlando.
Right.
An hour away from Tampa. Thanksgiving in Tampa. It starts to cool down. Hey, I'm good for the beach.
Yeah,
then you
fast
forward and you look at the Saints on 12/20. Will probably be flexed to a Sunday night game. New Orleans is an easy flight.
Yeah.
And then they're like Christmas in New Orleans. Okay,
probably the cheapest trip is New Orleans, yeah, of all these, I would think, or maybe Baltimore. But the Vegas one, dude, I think there's a level of.
So let's talk about this.
Just Vegas.
Let's say that this schedule came out without the coronavirus.
Sure.
Or like last year.
Okay, we're assuming we're going to have these games. So everything's cool.
You have coronavirus that you have to take
Vegas
into account.
Is Vegas open?
Well, so Fauci came out this week and said that, NFL games will be played. And that was the headline. Fauci says NFL schedule will play. But if you read in the article, did you read the article?
Yes, that ain't totally what he said.
Yeah, he's basically said, they'll play in front of fans at 50% capacity or 33% capacity.
Right, dude.
Okay, so I look at this from a practical standpoint, and let's take the road games out of the equation. At Arrowhead Stadium, and I'm going to round up. I know that it's not this number, but I'm going to round up.
Sure.
80,000 people on any
Perfect.
given Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So it's 78,000, whatever it is. So now we're going to play these games in front of 40,000. And then on top of that, I've probably got 65 to 70,000 season ticket holders. How do you decide who gets to go? Right?
I don't see how you don't go full capacity or you go no fans. I think there is not an in between, right? I don't know how you go an in between in a fair way. I mean, other than like seniority through season tickets, maybe.
Well, there's no way they would do it through seniority. They're going to do it through
cashola. Well, yeah, I know. Well,
like
it's going to be a money grab.
The sweet people are going to go first, and then you're going to get the lower level folks, and like the 300s. Because my brother's had his season tickets for 25 years.
Oh, 100%.
There's not a lot of people that have more seniority, but I guarantee you there's more people that pay more than where he pays because they like to sit upstairs.
But the question would be if it was fairness, though, like what is the fair way to say, okay, we've got to cut our stadium in half, who gets to come?
So there is a precedent for this. The Green Bay Packers actually have 2 sets of season ticket holders. Yeah. So remember when we were kids that they would play a few games in Milwaukee every year?
Right.
Do you remember this? Like
the
Don Majkowski era?
Yes.
That they would 100%. Play at County Stadium in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So they have I think they call them I may have this wrong, but they have the green season tickets and the gold season ticket holders, and they alternate games.
Right.
So if you're a gold season ticket holder, you get 5 games. If you're a green season ticket holder, you get 5 games, and it's like every other one. So
each season ticket holder gets kind of half their games.
They get half their games. Yeah.
It's a wild scenario, man. I don't know. I don't see the value in it. I don't see if I'm a fan too, a part of me goes, I'm not sure if that's the experience I want. And if it isn't just, I'd rather just stay home and watch it. I don't know.
Because they're, and they're talking about moving these things to
smaller stadiums. Yes.
Yeah. Like say a Northwest Missouri State.
Right.
Or, Missouri Western, they have facilities, they have infrastructure. But
exactly.
What you're going to do is let's say in a normal year, I should probably, to travel to this, call it the New Orleans game, I should probably expect to pay $250 to $300 for a good seat.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably expect to pay $100 to $150 to get in. Right.
Sure.
I don't care where I sit me up in the rafters. I just want to go to the stadium.
Right.
So I'm probably going to pay on the aftermarket $150. Now, if you take, and I don't know what the Superdome holds.
Yeah.
But let's say that it's 60,000 in that dome. Well, now if you've cut that in half, or he's even talked about a third. So now if you're saying I can put between 20 and 30,000 people in here, my get-in price is probably $500. And to sit in a good seat, I'm probably $1,000.
But see, that's where it's going to get really icky, right? I mean, there's a level of it's almost illegal to where, because you can't jack up prices in these kind of scenarios, like you get what I'm saying? Like there's a level of,
I don't think the teams are going to jack up the prices, but I think the market is going to.
No, I think the secondary
arbitrarily do it.
Yes, that is something. But there's a legality issue of taking advantage of these situations, and then right? Am I wrong about that? Like there's price gouging, right? It's like price gouging. Like you can't really, it's technically illegal.
But it's a supply and demand thing. It's a supply and demand thing, right? So
I know. But again, the question would be again,
I think to go to your price gouging thing, I think that would be different based on something that is a want. I want to go to this game.
Yeah.
versus price gouging on a need of
Right? Toilet paper,
of
like toilet paper, like when you're
or
right.
gasoline
That's a
or
great point.
things that are needed. I need this.
Yeah, you don't have to go. You don't have to
do-
go to the Chiefs game. You know,
right? Do I 100% need this toilet paper? No,
But
I
it's
could.
also
There's
gross.
alternatives.
Like, how gross though to sell your ticket for like $1,000 because there's a freaking pandemic, you know, and they've cut the prices down. So now I don't know. That's a moral thing to me. I know it's not a legal thing, but maybe it's, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think
Pretty
Tim
gross.
brought it up last week about I don't even know if there's going to be a season.
Yeah,
but
I know.
But I was talking to one of the guys that, I mean, basically on our race trip, there's me and good brother Bob. We do the planning.
Yeah,
because if we didn't, we would, whatever you guys want to do, whatever y'all want to do, whatever you want to do, we'd basically be sitting in the living room of the house, whatever you want to do to each other for the weekend, right. Till for the entire weekend. You just, what do you want to do? Yeah. Where do you want to eat? I don't care, wherever you want to eat. It's all good with me. I'm just hungry. Somebody pick, and so like him and I said, look, man, I think there's a lot of hurdles to get around. Number one, okay, are they going to have a season? Number two,
flights.
Do I want to fly? Number three, let's go to Vegas. Is Vegas open? Are the casinos open?
I know you're
Vegas,
right.
Is Vegas
may be a terrible choice. Yeah.
Is it attractive? Vegas. Right? Because, is it even attractive? Because what's the allure of going to Vegas, right?
Vegas has to be regular Vegas. It has to be regular Vegas or it's pointless. There's no, I mean, the new stadium, there'll be a level of coolness about the fact that it's a new stadium and kind of a new thing, I guess.
But it's a new stadium that I'll be able to go to any year I want.
100%. Yes.
It's a division game. And it's the same thing with LA. Right?
The opening games or something kind of cool, but I guess, but yeah.
And so let's maybe just talk about LA. So LA has come out, and I think, didn't they say, I think I read something today. They said they're shut down
another 3 months.
They're extending the stay-at-home order until, was it July? August?
It's another 3. I thought it was another 3 months. Yeah, it's what those LA guys were saying. That I know. Yeah. I think it's 3 months.
So okay, if I'm shut down LA for 3 months, so that's going to be June, July, August. Okay, so do NFL teams even get to have training camp there? Number two, do they get what's that do to the construction of the stadium, which probably an essential business? Those guys get to go out there, they get to continue doing the construction.
It's got to slow the supply chain of some of that stuff that they need. Maybe slows down a little bit. There's no doubt. Yeah. I'll tell you what, some of the other sports like MLS has talked about having like one site or 2 sites, right? All the teams go to one site or 2 sites around the country, and then they all play in that neutral site basically, and they all are in the, instead of having to travel, because bringing a football team's worth of people and everything else and taking that all the way to another city, right? And again, that's literally how viruses get spread and shit. It's not smart too.
And it's all going to be like that. The PGA Tour has basically, they're getting ready to start back up.
Yeah.
And I'm
golfing. We live right by a golf course, and people are hella golfing.
I'm all for letting people get out and golf.
Of all the sports, I mean, I would say yes, that seems the most practical.
Yeah.
For sure.
And some of the rules that they've changed for golf, I don't know if you've seen this, but some of the rules that they've changed are the caddies are not supposed to grab the club for the players anymore.
Interesting.
And the caddies can rake the bunker, and they can pick the flag stick up, but they have to wipe it down after they do that, and they're supposed to minimize contact. So, you're kind of
yelling over, I think you need a 3 iron here. Hey, what did you say? 3 or 3 wood?
Well,
3
and
iron?
The caddy reads the green.
Oh, right.
Caddy reads the green with the player.
Sure.
It's like,
they're usually pretty tight and pretty close.
What are you seeing? Yeah, 2 holes outside, right? And they're right over the ball. So the players knelt down over the ball. The caddies knelt down like a baseball umpire.
Sure. Yeah.
Right behind.
There's so much. Well, you saw in Missouri, they had some sort of youth baseball tournament. last
Did they?
weekend.
No, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
oh
But
yeah, like a 40 team. It was in national news. I saw it was on the New York Times because it must have been one of the first big like youth sports tournaments, but it was in Missouri, of course. And yeah, they were having it was like a 40 team. And baseball, again, is a sport that you go, well, there's pretty small amounts of contact, but then the picture they showed was the first baseman getting kind of ran into by the base runner, so there's a
Yeah.
level of contact in that sport too.
Right. Well, and I mean, you kind of look at the level of contact in football. Literally every play with
dude, football, soccer is very similar. People
Yeah.
don't, feel like soccer is very, kind of physical, but your bodies are rubbing against their bodies. I mean, not to be
Yeah.
gross and like, but that's
There's contact.
Basketball,
Yeah.
obviously the same thing,
Well, yeah. I mean, what are you going to do in basketball? Yeah, you can't guard
social distancing basketball. It's
social
like your girls.
Yeah.
It's like your girls play. You just play it like that. Or it's like the All-Star game. Every
Just
game
no
is like the
defense.
All-Star game.
No defense.
Right.
Well,
Hey,
they're talking
hey,
about
Rodman hasn't made a basket, guys. Get Rodman the ball. Let him shoot it. Come on, guys. Give him a.
Yeah, I mean I don't know, man. Like I look at this Chiefs schedule, and realistically, all of the games that I would be interested in, they're all road games.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
They've
a
got it
weak.
tough.
It's kind of a weak home schedule.
Yeah.
And
They've
one
got a
thing
tough
that
schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what you get when you're a Super Bowl champion.
Well, and the
that's-
one thing that's weird is they've got I call them bounce games.
Mhm.
So okay, so they start opening night in Houston here. So that's a game that I am planning on going to. I always go to the home opener,
Mhm.
and I'm definitely going to this one if fans are allowed because I want to see that ring and the banners go up and all that celebration, right?
Oh yeah, that is going to be badass.
So then from there you
It's
go.
a tough ticket. Do you guys have that ticket yet? Does it go on sale?
Yeah, I mean it's my brother takes me to the opening game for my birthday. It's my birthday.
That's right.
So then you go to LA. Okay. So Kansas City to LA, you're over in the Pacific time zone for the Sunday game. Game 3, all the way back to Baltimore on the East Coast.
It's a tough run of things. There's no doubt. And again, I just think they're prepared, like as a team for that.
So, I mean, you kind of have those games where you kind of look at like, what are the trap games?
Yeah, like Buffalo.
You got Buffalo. You got, Denver's up and coming as much as we want to bust our buddies' chops. They're pretty up and coming. They got some weapons. They've made some moves.
They'll always be there. They'll never be a joke for as long as they've been as long as the Raiders have been a joke,
We never play well in New York.
Yeah.
We never play the Jets well. No, we don't go to New York. Sorry, they come here.
Right.
But, and then like Miami.
Oh, I think Miami could be really good. Yeah, I think they could be absolutely much improved.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to Buffalo on a Thursday night, so you get a short week.
I think that's one of the toughest games right there.
And I think Buffalo wins that division.
It'll be interesting. I think it's Buffalo or Miami personally.
Yeah.
Like I have no faith in New England.
Yeah. It's probably Buffalo. I would say that it's probably Buffalo, Miami.
I mean, it's hard to say that though. We're going to want to take this back because Belichick's going to be like 9-0 to start the season with New England somehow with Jared Stidham or whatever. What the hell this guy's name is? I don't even know, but he'll somehow pull it off, basically by cheating, as we know, but that's okay. He'll find a way.
But yeah, I mean, as you kind of look at these games of like, okay, where would I want to go? Like you look at
pre-COVID to me, like it's Vegas and then like a massive gap after that. But again, that's just only because like think of the level of, fun and excitement that the first year NFL football in Vegas, it's like, again, there's a level of that's the one. And my buddies, if I'm going on a buddies trip, you know what I mean? Like that's
if you're
the one.
Taking a guy's trip, Vegas is the place.
The kids, you're right. I'm thinking of anywhere but Raiders game, of course, right? Number one, because there's going to be Raiders fans there.
I'm going to be interested to see how Vegas Raiders fans are. Like, is it going to be the traditional tough Oakland fan? I don't know.
It's not a tough trip. if you, I, not that I'm some sort of like West Coast, like, I don't know. Have you done that trip? Have you done that drive?
It's not a hard
California,
drive, but
LA to Vegas.
if you're a Raiders fan and you want to continue, it's an hour flight. I mean, it's not a big
Oh, you could
deal.
fly it. You could
Yeah,
drive it.
it's
That's
a
what I'm
45
saying.
minute. It might even be a 45-minute flight. It's not a big. It's
Super
not a
easy
big deal.
flight. But even if you're like more of my kind of, fan that would be like, oh, I can't fly, but it's only a couple hour drive.
Well, and
too. So
that was one of our conversations about this. It's like, well, okay, maybe we don't take flights to New Orleans. Maybe we drive it, because I think New Orleans is about a 12, 13-hour drive.
Yeah, it's not like from Vegas to LA, but it's definitely saves you on inhaling everything in that airplane. Because I mean, airplanes are like fourth grade classrooms. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing grosser and more germs. And a cruise ship. I guess a cruise ship is like a.
Well, the weird thing is like, when I was traveling all the time and I was flying every week, never got sick.
Interesting.
And when I was at the credit union, sitting in that office every day, not traveling, not getting out, going to the same office, I got sick like 3 or 4 times a year.
Interesting. Well, there
so,
you go.
I don't know if there's something about like, if you're not in a place long enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think that could absolutely be
if you're not in contact with.
Yeah, but I've always thought it's like the plane itself, but I don't know, because you're just kind of recycling the air,
Yeah, but even like since I've been at the smoothie factory working, like you would think, okay, I'm dealing with the public all day, I'm probably going to get sick. And we get a lot of sick people in there. Oh,
right. Because they want healthy food.
Yeah. Let me get that immunity. Let me get that vitamin C, put that in my smoothie. Let me get a juice. Let me get, it's a healthy food. Like,
sure.
The weird thing about our business from the coronavirus has been, we have dusted off our grand opening playbook. Like, we painted the windows. We're open. Carry out. Delivery. Uber Eats. Online. Here's our phone number.
So it's almost like a reopening. Grand reopening.
We put banners out that we haven't put out in 7 years. Like, we had like little street signs put out. Yes, we're open. Call us online. Yeah. Download the app. This is what we sell. This is why, and so we put this marketing stuff out that's like, you need our product because it's fresh fruit and vegetables, juiced, that raise your immune system, give you vitamins. That's real food. It's
good time for it.
And so we're out doing this type of stuff. Well, those people that are sick come to us because like we have a cold zapper juice that's basically cayenne pepper, ginger, spinach, kale,
cold zapper,
carrots. Like it's a spicy. That cayenne's gonna
blow
out. And so like people are like, okay, it's a spicy cold zapper.
Nice. Yeah.
So I get those people around me, and yet
you're staying pretty healthy.
And yet I don't get sick. So I think there's something too. Whereas like you go into this fourth grade class and you're in with these same 22 kids, 21 kids every single day, and it's all just passing around to the same little group.
100%.
And then that little group takes it and spreads it to their family or whatever, or their family, and then it gets in there. Whereas I'm seeing different people.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
And so I'm not.
And I think you also have to take precautions, like that's the other thing too. Like you start to learn the ways to also, keep yourself a little more, clean and less germy. And that's obviously like I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. Like I walk around with hand sanitizer all the time when I'm at school, and like I'm squirting the kids before lunch and like all kinds of, and part of me is like, hey, see, I told you guys so, because I'm feel a little justified here now, because people used to give me hell like, oh, Campbell, you're just, you're all worried about them germs and everything. I'm like, see, I can't wait to go back and be like, see what you buttholes did. If you guys would have been walking around with sanitizer like me, we wouldn't have this problem,
Well, the interesting thing is like when schools go back, I mean, I think it's a lot about like this NFL schedule. Like, I do hope that I hope we get back to sports.
I know.
But I don't know how much, like, as we've discussed on the show, I am a professional wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Professional wrestling has been having live shows, and they have been putting new content out. And I can tell you of the two main promotions, WWE and AEW,
Mhm.
AEW's empty arena shows have been much better than WWE's.
Interesting.
And part of the reason why AEW's is better is they actually have wrestlers kind of playing the role of the audience. So they've got, let's say they got 5 bad guys on one side, in where the crowd would be, spaced
That's
out
super
6
funny.
feet, and
Oh,
then
kick
they've
his
got,
ass. Kick his
then they've
ass.
got,
Steve
yeah,
ass.
and they're over there doing like,
Super funny. No, that's
the
great.
chants and and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Holding up
there's
signs.
Yeah, so there's like there's something going on that would give the, like, I don't know, man.
Well, it's like these Korean baseball or some of these games where they're like putting fake fans, like basically like little stand-up figurines that look like, like
or
or mannequins.
Are they pumping sound in?
Or pumping sound.
But like WWE,
it is such an aesthetic thing, that really makes it very difficult. I have seen clips of that WWE, and it is tough to watch. And I mean, I'm not a big wrestling fan, so that's part of it, but without the audience, it is weird.
It's also super weird to see these guys without an audience climb up to the second turnbuckle and
they've got to change. Yeah, that's the thing, right, Andy? That's
like
the thing. Playing to a crowd that's not there. like we're already pretending with you, right? In wrestling,
exactly.
in wrestling, we're already pretending with you. Like you're making us pretend a whole bunch when you're like, now asking us to pretend that you're playing up this imaginary crowd.
Well, it's like if I watch say a Marvel movie, and you've got Iron Man. Iron Man's not playing to the crowd.
Of course not.
So I mean, these guys like coming out and they're
don't have to do that.
Yeah,
they should have written that out of the scripts and stuff. They should have just said, hey, let's practice all the stuff that we normally do of like playing to the crowd and getting them like, maybe one guy still does that as like a gag, like that'd be super funny. If you're like a George the Animal Steel or something, like you were like or Hacksaw Jim Duggan, like that'd be funny. Like, and like play into the crowd and there's no one there, but he doesn't even know because he's such a crazy person.
So again, how All Elite has made, like they seem to have grasped it a little better. Right. So Chris Jericho's used to be a WWF guy, all this stuff, and he's over there now, and he's kind of like their top heel. And he was cutting a promo with this guy in the ring, and he's like, and you know what? No more fans till I say so.
Right.
It's like, I'm not allowing fans in here. Like basically, like it was his idea
decision,
and all this. But he's like, you know what? And I'm not going to allow fans back in here because I'm upset at the way that I was treated. And so
of course.
and so
banning fans. It's not the worldwide, closure of the world.
So it's because he did it. And
exactly. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And
so again, they're doing a good job with it. But like to watch like WWE on Monday or on Friday night without fans in there, like it's just not the same.
Yeah,
it's just it's an empty. So you take that and you translate. Like I could probably
sports will be weird.
I could probably get by golf.
No,
I could probably get away with tennis.
If I never hear anyone say "get in the hole," again,
right. You're the
man. Tiger. Come on,
like I'm probably okay with. I don't even like watching the UFC.
Why in the God? I agreed. And why golf is golf is almost the one where you go like, why was there ever anyone in those scenarios? Like I don't see. I don't know if that gives that. I
can actually watch a golf tournament. I don't know that I could be like, man, I gotta go see this live.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I would probably just be miserable
because I wouldn't
be able to see.
Right.
I'd be outside. It'd be hot. It'd be
like you literally part of golf is finding your own ball that you hit. Right. Like, so how as a spectator sport are you supposed to be standing like 300 yards away? Be like, oh, look at hell of a swing there, Tiger.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and then like I could get behind tennis coming back.
Yeah,
exactly. But see, I don't even know that I would really get behind soccer. Like I think the crowd. I think the crowd's a big part of it. I think the chanting, soccer, and kind of the same thing.
Soccer will be weird. Football will be weird. Basketball will be weird.
Basketball would probably be the worst.
Yes, because of the sneakers.
The squeaking of it'd be.
They'd have to figure out a way to get rid of that. They'd have to figure out a way. And the only other bonus would be, okay, and again, that's where you start to you hope that that's exactly what there's smarter people than us right now thinking about this, right? And well, not smarter than us, but maybe, equally smart, equally
Good
smart as
luck.
us.
I mean, you're probably not going to find anybody smarter
No, of
than
course
us.
not.
I mean,
But there's people out there equally smart as us that are their jobs are, to produce these things. They're going like, how can we make this product without fans? Okay, so what can we do? How can we take that problem and make it a cool thing? So again, that's when it goes back into, and that's going to be hard too, because athletes cuss, right? And athletes say things that they're not going to want to be heard. They're not going to want to be said. It's going to kind of take the curtain off some of that. But that might be the cool part too, is that you can actually hear that's something that they did. Some of the games that they've had right before everything ended, they had some games, soccer games, that were televised without fans. And you could hear everything you could hear all the communication, all the cool stuff. Yeah. And then that was cool, so there's a level of, so you just hope that there's somebody out there going, well, how are we going to produce these things that make it, that you say, okay, it would be better with fans in the stands, but what can we give the audience on TV something cool that they're not going to get normally,
Well, and see, I wonder if the push, because like if you look at the revenue model of these leagues and these teams, it's not necessarily the people, the butts in the seats.
Of course not. No.
It's the advertising dollars, right?
Right.
But here's the thing. You kind of need the butts in the seats, because those butts and seats translate to a better viewing thing, right? The crowd noise, right. How crazy it is. Like, could you imagine?
And they do spend money, and you got to think about like the ancillary,
Sure.
businesses too, right? It's the concession people themselves. It's, that too. But yes, you're right. Like
but as an advertiser, now, like, does the on-field product, look at it this way. Okay, if let's say that, all right, the top 6 teams the NBA is going to start back up, and we're going to have a play-in tournament.
Right.
What's the advantage of being the number 1 seed?
0, because you have no home field advantage. Right.
Okay, you're basically playing on a neutral court. It's basically a Super Bowl, right?
All those things, right? All those things that go into that kind of ranking and seeding and stuff like that it's going to be flipped on its head if you don't have. And that'll be interesting, again, maybe it'll be interesting to see. It would almost be kind of a cool experiment. It's sad that what's happened, but it would be interesting to see like what the effect of like home field is without fans, because there is benefits to being at home, right? That aren't fans part, like obviously you're living at home, you're not having to fly, you are playing on the court that you are used to, you know what I mean? Like there's advantages, but the big advantage, of course, is the fans not telling you to F off every time you try to shoot a free throw.
Or like if you look at it at the NFL, they're not messing with your snap count.
100%.
Right? You're not having, and let's be honest, that home teams do tend to get a little bit more calls, despite umpires saying no, we call it right down the middle.
Of course they do.
They're still getting calls, but
there's pressure. There's psychological pressure that you cannot possibly not at least fall to a little bit. Yeah.
Now, how much would it kill the Chiefs' mystique? Let's say they play, half full stadium, empty arena, whatever, and the opposing teams have the same amount of false starts and have to use the same amount of timeouts. Like that, that stat they put up on Arrowhead, like false starts, that you crowd, you caused this. You guys are the ones that caused this. How would that be the, does it just kill everything? Our entire existence is gone. The loudest stadium in the world. It
means
meant
nothing. All that 12th man stuff in Seattle. Exactly. All that stuff was
nothing.
Just absolutely right. Yeah, no, it would be, I think it means less than it ever did. Right now, does it mean nothing? Is it worth does it give you some advantage? But I think some of the things that I was alluding to that we talked a little bit about before are more important almost nowadays than fan noise. Now, yes, in football there was, and I think it's interesting. Like, think about when Arrowhead got its reputation. I think technology adjusted around it, right? Like they realized that, oh man, now the fans have realized that they can really affect the opposing team by being super loud, right? And so now they've got all the headsets inside their, they've got all these quick snap counts, they've got all these things that, to kind of combat that. So it's almost like, I don't know how much it affects them, and I know as an athlete, I loved playing in opposing teams' places. I loved playing on the road, and I loved playing, and I obviously so lower level, not anywhere near at the NFL level, but I loved going. We went to one school, Kansas Newman. They always had fans that would heckle us. Like, I mean, at the lowest level of like, it's NAIA soccer, right? But they would heckle us, and I loved going down there, man. I was so pumped every time to go down there, and I have my best games because I was like, "Screw you guys, I want to play," because they would follow me. So they made fun of my clothes, like they would make fun of like, it was like, again, it was like an NFL crowd that making fun of somebody, and me, I was like, it just pumped me up, it was like, I want to win in front of these guys,
Yeah, I want to shut them up.
Exactly.
I mean, and I
I'd
know
rather
that
do that.
I know we've got a Last Dance pod coming up.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, that's gonna.
I figured out I figured out what it's called now. I finally figured out the word to describe it.
I saw that. Yeah, I needed. You remember that the black guy in 40-Year-Old Virgin? Remember Steve Kerr?
Of course.
He has a line. He's like, "See, now you're using big words, so I'm just going to assume that you disrespected me."
Right. Exactly.
Like I was looking for that. I was looking for that gift to respond when you put that out. I was like, see, now you're using big words, so I'm just going to assume you disrespected me.
That's right. I mean, you should assume that because I was but like it just means like making it's like revisionist history. It's like making a saint out of somebody. The literal interpretation is like what they do. Hagiography, I think, is what it's called, or something like that. I don't even think I'm saying it right, but like is what they do. Catholics do after they make somebody a saint. So if you're doing it in terms of like art or in a documentary, it's basically going back and saying this guy is amazing and great. And again, it's all good. It's all good. I'm trying to be better about it. I'm trying to give less hate, Andy. Less hate. I'm trying to be more positive about it. I really am. I promise. I didn't mute it. I did unmute The Last Dance. That I did flirt with muting The Last Dance on Twitter. But I did unmute it. So just for you.
I thought it was pretty funny that you muted The Last Dance, and then when I responded to you, what I say, the final whirl.
That was amazing. Exactly. That was perfect.
Got into the thesaurus to make sure that my tweet got through to you. Yeah.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
All right. Before we get out of here, two final thoughts, one on topic and one off topic. Which one do you want, on topic or off topic?
Let's go on and then off.
All right. Talk to me about the schedule and what games are you most looking forward to, assuming that we play. All of this is basically just assume we're playing, assume that things are normal, assume, we can put 80,000 people into a stadium.
Yes. Here's the deal. Like for me, we're very blessed, and I hope I'm right about this, but I just think I'm excited to watch every down and every snap that Patrick Mahomes plays. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So part of me is it's hard to go like game to game. Like I think when you have Alex Smith as your quarterback or you have other people, part of you goes like, what's going to be the cool game here that I can see that's going to be, but part of me goes every time Patrick Mahomes laces them up, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to enjoy the ball game. I'm going to see something I haven't seen, or I'm going to see something spectacular that I can root for as a Kansas Cityan, which is the new thing, right? That's the new piece of it. There's always been spectacular players. They just didn't play for quarterback for the Chiefs. So like, I'm excited for every game. Baltimore to me is the one that I still think that Baltimore has a chip on their shoulder a little bit. I think Baltimore was feeling themselves a little bit at the end of the year, and I still think kind of the world feels them a little bit, and I kind of want to squash them. Like they're still the team that I think if we go in and we just beat their ass in their place, okay, and we go back and we make it to the AFC Championship game, we make it to Super Bowl, whatever it is, I just think it's time to kind of put them away. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Well, to the point you made about, so I think when we kind of put our notes together on this, there were a handful of things, and we've touched on them, believe it or not, through our notes.
We stay, every once in a while.
We had storyline games, and I think the first sub bullet was, well, all of them.
I know.
It's basically just Patrick Mahomes versus. How's Patrick Mahomes going to deal with this Baltimore defense? How's Patrick Mahomes going to deal with this Houston team? How's Patrick Mahomes going to open this stadium? How's Patrick Mahomes going to, and you just.
I know, dude. It's cool. It's cool. And he's deserving so far. There's, like he seems to be a cool cat, and he's a good player.
Yeah. So I now have two off-topic things because you mentioned a name. So off-topic question number one: did you watch Project 11?
No, but I need to.
Oh my goodness!
I like Alex Smith, man. I like Alex Smith a lot.
If I can give you a piece of advice on that, two pieces of advice. Piece of advice number one: do not do it while eating dinner or eating at all.
It's so bad because they show the injury quite a bit.
It's not the injury.
Or in the other stuff. Oh, like the surgeries and all that shit.
It's the bacteria, the flesh-eating bacteria.
Right, because he almost died. Yeah, he almost from the
injury. The injury's bad. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, we've all
seen that clip.
We've all seen those clips, and as bad as it is. But dude, did you ever see the exhibit? I think it was down at Union Station. I saw it in Chicago, where they basically had the people with their skin,
human body, human body stuff, yeah.
So if that made you queasy, so number two would be don't have your kids watch it with you.
Because of that, or just
dude, it's like there's some stuff in there where you're just like, oh my god, that's nasty. Right. And they did. ESPN does a good job of like, hey, this says be careful with this
graphic stuff, but it's and good on him, man. Here's what I don't. Tell me this, just not to. I know it's about time to go, but like, is he still trying to play football? Is that a thing?
Yeah, he has sights on coming back, and like they show him working out, and throwing a football, and
God love him.
And
I don't know.
He's running, and and he's doing
Alex. Just please,
some good agility.
I love
stuff,
the guy, and I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him do it, as like a story. But gee whiz, man, part of me just goes, man, you are a smart cat. Like you've got an amazing family. It looks like, dude, just, I don't know, I get it. I don't know. I understand. I don't want to despite no one. And you don't want to be in people's heads. And that's kind of, it sounds to me like that's been his motivation, with his family, of course, as well. But, is to kind of, so whatever it takes to motivate him to get through that, but geez, coming back from that is just, I can't, I don't know. And maybe maybe that's what he wants to do. Maybe just to say, hey, man, I threw one freaking football on the NFL field after that injury.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to ruin too much of it. I think I think it's worth your time. Watching it. It's
I do want to check it out.
Because
I like Alex Smith, man. I like Alex Smith a lot. I think he got a bad rap at times here, and not that and I also will tell you that I wanted his ass benched, the minute I saw Patrick Mahomes throw the football.
Right. Yeah. Well,
but I will say that too. But great guy, like good human being, and not a bad football player. Not a bad football player at all.
Well, and it's kind of like, you look at, say, a Drew Bledsoe versus Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Like, look, hey man, you're good. This guy's great. And I would say that Alex Smith was good.
Correct.
Borderline great, had some really solid stuff.
Yeah.
There were times where he was.
He can be great in the right system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Andy Reid and with weapons, then yes, he could be borderline great at times. Yes. He put up big numbers in that year. I mean, that year that I wanted him benched.
Even in San Francisco.
Oh, 100%.
Even in San Francisco he did.
He's a good player, man. He's a good player. He's just unlucky. Like, Jesus Christ. What a lot of bad luck for him.
Yeah. But, well, I had a second off-topic thing, but I because I'm old and we got talking about Alex Smith, I completely forgot about it. So, you know what? If I
it's part two next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. I'm sure I'll remember it, and then I'll text you. Oh, I just remembered it. Okay.
Boom.
Right. Yeah, talking about texting you and tweeting and stuff like that. So you had a tweet this week that said, if there's, I'm going to paraphrase here, but I think you know which one I'm talking about. It's like, if there's one thing I've learned about old Famer Time is that sometimes people need a break from Famer Time, and I'm glad to give it to them.
Yeah.
That almost sounded like you were going to shut down Twitter for a bit.
Oh no. Yeah, no, that's that I should absolutely. But no, it's one of those things where like, and it was kind of with my new group of friends, and when you meet new people or just different things, like you can, here's how I explained it to someone, because it was really nice. Like people were going, hey, you know, is everything all right? You know, because that was a little cryptic, and I didn't mean for it to be like, you know, like, well, man.
You did draw our not great friend of the show, Fake Phil Prince, out of his slumber to tweet at you
not to go,
to beg you to stay.
Why is he like you
and hate the rest of us? Like, did you pay him? Are you nice to him? Do you feed him?
I attract those kind of guys. Okay. I'm that guy, right? And why do I always attract these kind of guys, Mom? Yeah, they were just my friends. They were my friends, not my actual. Yeah, but, so yeah, no, like I tend to like. Sometimes I can be turned up to 11. And sometimes I just need to like turn myself down a little bit, you know, like, and my personality can get like a little overwhelming sometimes, I think. And like my deal, like it's kind of our deal. Like, you know me, right? So we can have these like long fights about Jordan and different things like that. And I can really have these horrible takes, and you can tell me how stupid I am. And like, it's very normal for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But for people that I've just been hanging out with for like 6 months, that's a little much. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going, this sucks and this sucks, and you know, like, and doing that kind of thing. And so it was just one of those moments where I was just like, you know, sometimes you gotta like, again, you just being self-aware and knowing like to moderate yourself at times. And yeah.
Well, I would say that Fish Twitter Matt is much more positive than
Thank you.
Fish Twitter Matt, positive Trump
IRL
politician Twitter Matt can lead some folks to hit the old mute button, unfollow button.
Exactly. I can be a little hateful at times. So that's the trick.
IRL Matt, it's kind of like, no, man, he's a good dude. Like,
I know.
Because like there are people that listen to this podcast and they call me and they're like, "What the fucking Campbell?" And I'm like, dude, in real life you'd love him. You know, like you have this in common, this in common, this in common. I'm telling you, in real life you would like him.
I know, Andy,
but I realize that his politics are where they're at, and that's probably very different than what your politics are.
I have conversations about
but
that.
I'm telling you, in real life, this is you'd like the guy.
That's right.
But, yeah,
well,
it's like.
but
I was worried you were shutting Twitter down.
Oh,
so,
no,
but
no.
I was gonna tweet at you, but then I saw that Fake Phil tweeted at you, and I was like, man, I'm not following this guy. Like,
exactly.
No.
Can't ride his coattails.
No, like he's all begging you not to leave, and so
yeah, it worked.
Okay, don't. He
no, we'll erase that.
Actually, he does listen. I'm gonna have to clip that out. We can't
exactly.
Give him any
Good thing it was at the end.
Good thing we've got an edit button. All right, man. Good stuff, man. I will catch up with you next week, and again, plug your other projects, man. Tell people where they can find them.
What plus on YouTube? Just type that in, and there is a dating site that apparently pops up if you do that too. We are not the dating site, but maybe someday. I don't know.
Oh my God. You know how they got farmersonly.com?
Sure. Yeah.
Fish Fans Connect.
I know. Believe me, it's something. I might pitch that next weekend. Yeah, I might
Fish Fans Connect.
All right,
there you go.
I might have you zoom in with me, and we'll sell it like Shark Tank.
Yeah, I need you to listen to. One of these podcasts I've been listening to with a couple of these obscure wrestlers that I really like. These guys are doing this. They do these fake commercials, and they call it Dads for Real. Right? It's like, are you looking for love? I'm looking for love too. Head on over to my Instagram. Dads for Real. I used to have a website. dadsforreal.geocities.com, and they shut the
Nice.
son bitch down. But I was like, oh my God,
awesome.
dude. It's just hilarious.
Those guys are talented, man, in what they do.
Dads
They're
for real.
smart. That's awesome.
So yeah, man, fish fans connect. It can be your farmers only.
Love it. We're doing it.
All right, man. Talk to you next week. See you,
buddy.
friends. Later.
All right. Bye-bye.